Welcome back for another video. It's Eharbad, and we are in the raid Shadow of the Legends once more, just checking the old Soul Merchant shop quickly. But that's not what we're here to discuss, as I'm sure you've seen on the video thumbnail. What can you say? In my opinion, we started with a model of pay to play, where you would buy games and you'd get to play them, and that worked well. And then people wanted the idea of being able to pay extra for cosmetics. But then that wasn't enough, so then the idea of pay to win got introduced, where you could pay for convenience or pay for progression or pay for power, whatever you want to call it. All ends up being called pay to win in general. But now, in Plarium's great wisdom, they are taking the gaming model to the next level. And in this monster path, you have pay to work. So not only do you basically have to pay to be able to get this hero, you then have to work your nuts off for the next 3.5 days, 4 days when it started, to be able to do it. So, if we scroll down, you've obviously also got these lunar points in there. We'll come back to that later, and there's actually quite a lot of them locked in this event. 280 points. But most importantly, if you want to get this champion here, you have to go down here. You need 2 keys to get in. So you're going to have to go and get these 2 keys past this ridiculous chaos ore. Thank you very much. And then you can get down here and get the champion. Of course, if you wanted to get this way as well, you then have to get these additional keys, right? I'm pretty sure you need 2 more, and I don't see anywhere else unless you start with 1. No, you don't. Anyway, we're not going to care about it. If you want to get the champion, I believe it has been calculated by other people, and it's 107,750 points. That is a lot of points, where we get very few points coming from soulstones. Sorry, that was a misclick right there. We get very few coming from soulstones. Most people aren't going to have that many T3s, so really you're looking at T1 and T2. Let's just say you could get maybe you've got enough souls to get like 10,000 points or something. Who knows? But it's going to put a dent in it, but it's not much. You have to do a lot of champion training. Now, the way to look at this is it's about 2.2 points you get in hero path versus a regular champion training. So if we're saying it's 107,750, we're basically saying that's the equivalent of about 48,500 points in a regular champion training, which is a lot, and it's only in 4 days. I mean, what to say? It's crazy. On top of that, if you want to get this Lunar Festival Titan event, get the 5-star perfect soul. No split souls along the way, so you can't just be like, okay, I'll do what I can, and maybe I'll walk away with a 2, 3, or 4-star soul. It's all or nothing. Boom or bust. You either get the 5-star perfect soul for completing it, or you get screwed. You could say the mythical tome at 1,000's not too bad, and the 600 for the legendary tome quite nice as well. But we already know that in that hero path there is 280 points locked away already. So this is going to be brutal. I don't know if they actually said, it's not in there. Lunar Festival, did they say how many points in total? You'll be able to earn up to 1750, so we can afford to lose 250. And what did we just say? There's 280 in the very first event. So if you skip this, you already cannot get the perfect soul. So bear that in mind. If you want any chance of getting the perfect soul, you really have to pick up some of these points. And the fact that, if you wanted to come down here and get this, you then have to come back here and unlock these to try and get this. And this one's behind another key. Come on. this is just so punitive, the way this has been distributed, irrespective of everything, like the actual cost of it. Forget that. Just the pathing is just evil. But anyway, what I really wanted to talk about, well, obviously it's this event and whether I'm going to do it. And for me, it's a hard pass. For anyone who just wants the long and short of it, it's an absolute hard pass. If we jump over to my spreadsheet, let me just do that. There we go. This is like a really old version of my spreadsheet where I worked out, if I was doing rank ups, basically the farming method I've said before, where I take 1-star food I use like a brew, and 3 1-stars to make it into a 2-star, rank them up, then campaign, blah, blah, blah for the 2-star and 3-star and 4-star, using the brew method as well. Although I probably need to update this because I actually use 5 brews. Slightly better points overall. But not a lot. Doesn't make a lot of difference between the 5 brew and the 3 brew. Anyway, that's a bit of a mindless side point. But in regular champion training, you get about 1.84 points per energy. And that's not with making 6 stars. So if you do make 6 stars, obviously you're going to get more points, and that doesn't use more energy. This is just if you were making the 5-star food without making any 6-star champions. Whereas if you did it through Hero Path, you get 4.1 points per energy. So it's about 2.22 times more points per energy through Hero Path than you get through champion training. Since we need 107,750 points to get the champion, we're looking at the champion training equivalent of 48,500. We're basically saying if you did rank 5s only, you need about 26,000 energy. Obviously, if you make some 6 stars with those food and you summon a few soul shards, it will come down. But let's just say between 20 and 25,000 energy required. If you did the full amount, we're looking about 202 energy refills because you get 130 energy per refill. And then obviously it's 40 gems per energy refill. So you're looking about 8,000 gems at worst, probably a little bit less in practice. But it's a lot of gems and it's a lot of energy. And moreover, it's a lot of time. Like to do 48,000 champion training equivalent points in 4 days, I would guesstimate you're probably looking at around 4 to 5 hours a day of running campaign. And that is the next biggest issue. So not only can you have not stockpiled enough energy, because there's no way of stockpiling energy refills of the magnitude required when we're using them all the time for CVC, fusions, etc. You might have some of your weeklies, your monthlies. You'll probably have some in Curse City, for instance. I've got an energy node there. You'll have some in Doom Tower I need to do today, and there's an energy there on floor 19. So it's really down to how many gems you've stockpiled. And I think we earn about, from my own personal experience, you can accrue about 1,000 a month free to play. It's really not something that's free to play friendly at all. 8,000 gems is a lot, whereas we actually get many more shards through Clan Boss. It's actually much easier to stockpile shards than it is to stockpile energy in the long run. But again, forget that. Let's just say we wanted to spend the energy, 25,000 roughly energy, and we actually wanted to do it. We're happy to spend the gems to get this champion. Campaign is the absolute worst part of the game for you to be investing 25,000 energy. If you're early game, you're not going to have gear to equip that many champions. You probably don't have that many champions that are worth you 6-starring. If we go back to my champions, actually, is probably a better way of looking at it. And we say, like, I've got probably a bunch of 5 stars that would be quite nice to go up to 6 stars. So your Carl number 2, Stoutus number 3, Bambus, Draco, Biggin. Yeah, I've got like a bunch of champions that I could probably 6-star. I'm not in any rush for a bunch of these because we're going to have so many more champion trainings for mythical books, for legendary books, in the future fusions. I might as well drip feed the champions I want to 6-star over time because otherwise I'm going to run out of champions that I need to actually level up. And then there's the other problem is the more 6-stars I make, I get into this next situation where loads of them don't have masteries. So I need to go through and do masteries on all of these champions. We can click through them on the masteries tab and you're like, there's so many champions that I need to finish masteries on or get any on. And even in a lot of the champions that are actually 6-star, a lot of them don't, some of them do, but there's like, you go through and there's a lot of missing masteries. Even on all these 6-stars here, I could click through and probably find that we got some masteries on that. With Cathalia we do, Urost we do, Supreme Kale we don't, Richoff we do, Snake Track we don't, etc. And like, there's so many masteries I don't have. And then another thing we could look through and be like, well, another thing I could do is finish ascending gear. I look at some of my best champions and I'm not fully ascended on all my gear. So if I was going to spend 8,000 gems trying to really turbocharge my account, I'd be much better off doing that in Minotaur, Sand Devil, Shogun, Fire Knight, Spider, Ice Golem, even Dragon. I mean, the reality is I would get more in terms of developing my account if I was going to put 20 to 25,000 energy into something. I'd get more anywhere else in the game than I would campaign. Campaign is the absolute worst place for me to put a huge amount of energy in. And it's boring. If of nothing else, it's absolutely boring. And that for me, I think is probably the absolute worst thing. Is not only is it just a brutal event where you basically have to spend a lot of gems to get the energy or buy energy packs. So it's even more than shards. I think it's unfriendly to free to play, but it's unfriendly to people who pay, because even if you pay, you have to then go and do the work. So you're not even paying for convenience, not even paying to win. You're literally paying to go and work for hours and hours each day in the game, grinding the worst part of the game, doing something that's not going to materially improve your account. You're not getting to do the stuff you want. You can't do Iron Twins for it. You can't do Minotaur. You can't even do Potion Keep farming if you needed some of that. You can't do gear farming. You can't do gear ascension farming. You can't do anything that's going to dramatically and fundamentally improve your account for the long run other than farm food. And that is absolutely, forget everything else. That's the worst part of this event for me, is you are paying to grind, to work, work and work and work. And I mean, you could argue it's the cheapest guaranteed ever in terms of if you equated the financial cost of the energy versus the financial cost of the shards. But equally, you have to work and work for it. And, if I wanted to get this champion, I'd have to take 4 days off work. That's worth more than me than whatever the so-called saving by not using shards is. Anyway, that pretty much sums it up. For me, the monster path is complete and utter trash, and I'm going to ignore it entirely, and I'm going to focus on things that are going to benefit my account and be less egregiously painful. As a consequence, I'm also going to be ignoring the Lunar event, because by not doing this first event, I can't get the 5-star Perfect Soul. The next thing that I'd maybe want is this 100 tier 3 coins. If I can get that without working too hard, great. If I could pick up the skill tome, great. But I'm not going to care either way. Whatever I get, I get. Whatever I don't. And I'll just leave it at that. What I'm looking forward to most of all is this Sand Devil turn attack starting tomorrow. That's where my energy is going to be going. Now that we have dust, now it's more valuable than ever. I can go through, look at my champions, where I've ascended gear and got the bad roll. I can now go back through, get the dust, and try and rework it and look for those speed with speed, whatever speed with defense. Even this is good. Defense percent for my Duchess is a good sub, and it's those kind of things, like really nice pair of gloves. I would like to go through again and just rework them, try and get HP or defense percent, etc. And like doing this, farming the dust, this would be much better for me. Let's just do it one more time. It's a waste of dust, obviously, because I didn't need to. But there we go, defense percent again. And these are going to end up being a great pair of gloves. So for me, that is a much better use of my time, my energy, and my account's energy for the next 4 days. As always, thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments why I'm completely wrong. Feel free. Equally, if you agree with everything I've said, you can say that as well. I never tire of being told I'm right. As always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for now.